What's going on, Dolphins? It is your boy Dillon, and it's been a long time. I think it's been like over 2 years since I made a video. And as some of you may recall, that's because my life was kind of in a really rough spot, and I had some things to work through. Thankfully, I can say that I'm optimistic about my future and how things are going to go. And so that's why I've been planning now for a little bit to start making videos again. And, I'm obviously watching the draft. This is day 2 of the draft. And I was inspired because I wanted to make some comments about their pick today. But there's some other things I want to, touch on too. I want to, give my general opinion of the team right now and how things are going and stuff as well. This will be a, pretty short video. As of right now, they're still at the back end of round 2, just poking into round 3. They're at pick 65. The Eagles are up right now. So, we still do have one more pick today, and then we have a pick tomorrow, 2 picks tomorrow in round 6 and 7. Obviously, we only have 4 picks in total. We had the 51st pick in round 2, and I believe it's 84 in round 3. So anyway, before I get to that, though, let me just make some comments about how I feel about the team overall. Obviously, last year we had a really good season. I think that, Tua is going to be phenomenal. I want to say, right off that I am super pumped that they didn't get rid of him, that I was wrong about, the Dolphins ending up giving up on him because I think he's going to be a great quarterback for us. Also, I want to say, though, that last year I am a firm believer that he did sustain 3 concussions. A lot of people don't count that one in the Bills game, but to me, it's pretty obvious. I've had concussions in my life. I know what it's like. I've seen a lot of them with other people as well. And if you really know anything about concussions, there's no denying that he sustained a concussion. The only real debate is how severe was it? And, honestly, I think with what we saw on the field, him stumbling, et cetera, the shaking of the head, that was enough for me to understand that it was actually a relatively severe, mild, if not more severe concussion. And he should have come out of the game. He never should have played in the Bengals game, I think it was the second one. Anyway, that's in the past, though. I think that he is going to be, continue to be great for us. It's funny because the jiu-jitsu thing, it's funny, like, cool, but if you really think about it, it's really not going to help when you're getting tackled, right? Like, especially if you're wrapped up when you're getting tackled. A couple of those, the 2 concussions that, everybody counts, he was wrapped up and there was no control over his own body, right? So, honestly, it's not really going to help. The biggest thing that caused those incidents last year was the offensive line. And, this will lead me into the draft stuff in a minute, but, they still got Austin Jackson and Eichenberg on that line, and they're apparently still going to go with that. I mean, there's still 3 more picks this draft. They obviously got undrafted guys they could take, and, apparently they talked to Taylor Lewan. That would be a really good pickup, although he is getting older, right? I wanted them to take an offensive tackle here in the 2nd round. Anyway, we'll get more to that in a minute. Just to finish off my initial thoughts on the team this year, I think that they're going to have a really good season. I definitely think that they can compete within the division. I think the Bills right now are the favorite. Even though Aaron Rodgers went to the Jets, I think that they're still likely to be the 3rd team in the division. I think that 2nd is the baseline for us. I don't think we're going to go anywhere less than 2nd, right? I think they should win at least 10 games this season. I love the offensive coaching staff overall, and Mike McDaniel, I think he proved himself so far in his tenure. It's only obviously, his 2nd year, but last year he did really great. Obviously, committing to Tua and backing him is huge. That was one of my big issues with Ryan Tannehill in this organization is he never had the true support, right? And, I think he could have been a lot better in his career. I think he could have had a lot more success if they gave him what he needed, an offensive line, running back, weapons on the outside, etc. And so right now we have obviously Tyreek Hill and Waddle, although Hill is apparently going to retire in a couple years, right? We definitely need to fill those 2 spots on the offensive line. We still need a running back. I'm in favor of them getting Dalvin Cook, although I definitely think they should wait until he gets cut by the Vikings. I think that makes more sense overall because then you don't really have to give up anything for him except for money. I'm definitely glad that Byron Jones is going to be out of here. You guys should know that I never was on board with that. I think, and look, his health or his, mental health or whatever's going on with him, I'm not, even talking about that. If he feels it's time to hang up his cleats, by all means. But I thought he's always been overrated, and I never thought he should have come in. I never thought the drama between him and Howard should have been there, and that was all on the fault of the Dolphins, right? But right now, I think that they've got a great thing overall in place. The defense, especially with Vic Fangio, looks like it's going to be stellar, should be stellar. Bringing over Ramsey, I'm, again, not in the same way that I wasn't generally in favor of the Hill thing, trading for Hill the way they did. I don't hate it, and I think that it can really, provide a boost to this team. I mean, having Howard and Ramsey on as our 2 primary corners, I mean, I gotta say, that's fucking amazing. So, anyway, let's go ahead and our defensive line, I think, is pretty fucking amazing. We got Chubb, we got Phillips, we still got Agba. The interior is going to be looking really good. I gotta say, Christian Wilkins, I mean, it took him like 5 years, and I definitely think that they should pay him, but he finally earned his first-round potential, first-round pick. Up until, this past season, you guys should know that I never thought they should have took him, especially because there was a run on defensive linemen in that draft, and they should have taken an offensive lineman. So I didn't think that they prioritized properly, but at this point in time, I definitely think he has earned an extension, and that defensive line is great. Also, they brought in David Long Jr., so they did beef up that linebacking unit a little bit there as well. And I think the defense really has the chance to be stellar this upcoming season. And it's going to need to be with Aaron Rodgers, with, Josh Allen in the division. Obviously, then you have Joe Burrow and Patrick Mahomes and Lamar Jackson and all these other great quarterbacks in the AFC. So it's definitely going to need to be, but I'm excited to see what Vic Fangio does with this defense. I am pumped up for that. As far as the offense goes, again, I hope that they do bring in Dalvin Cook. I think that would solve the running back position. We're good at wide receiver. I think they even got some depth options there and whatnot, so I think we're good there. Obviously, I think we're good at quarterback. My concern, as always with this team, is the offensive line. I mean, I think Armstead is obviously good at left tackle. I think Connor Williams really should be our left guard, but he's a good center, so if you leave him there, that's fine. And then I think Robert Hunt is just fine at right guard. But having Eichenberg at left guard and Austin Jackson at right tackle is just like, to me, why are you doing that? Why? And it makes, so to getting to the pick that they made, they took a cornerback at 51. It just, when they make decisions like that, it really blows my mind. Like, it's like, what are you doing right now? We need offensive line. You could have took a running back. You could have took a tight end. Damn it, what was his name? Darnell Anderson? Or I can't remember there was still a tight end. Darnell Washington. There it goes. I just saw it on my stream off to the side here of the draft. They could have took Darnell Washington, and I actually didn't think that they needed to take a tight end now in this draft, right? Like, they could have addressed tight end later, but corner, that was the last thing that we needed. Absolute last thing. We have Howard and Ramsey as your top 2 guys. Then you still have Nick Needham. You have Cater Kohu. You have Trill Williams. You got a bunch of dudes in that quarterback room. And at 51, when you only have 4 picks in the draft total, and that's our highest pick because obviously we know that we didn't have a first-round pick because it got forfeited due to the whole tampering, bullshit. What are you doing? Why? It blows my mind. I can't wrap my head around it. I just can't. Like, it frustrates me when they make those kinds of decisions. And again, I'll wrap it up with this, man. with the offensive line being where it is, and I believe that it was the offensive line, Austin Jackson in particular. I mean, who knows? Maybe they do end up getting Taylor Lewan, and then, okay, fine. But, like, with the offensive line being what it is and still, you know, the biggest Achilles heel of this team, and what I believe to be the primary cause in all of Tua's concussions last year, whether you want to say it was only 2, which is obviously terrible to begin with, and I think he was for sure right to contemplate retirement, because that's a huge deal. But I think it was 3. Undoubtedly, I think it was 3. And with that being the case, in my mind, I don't understand how you make this decision, how you go corner and not take an offensive lineman. And you could be like, oh, well, maybe their board was this, that, and the other, and he was the best player. Dude, stop. Like, good GMs and good organizations have a combination of best player available and need and highest need. They always find a way to marry those two things, and it's bad prioritization to me. It really is. So I don't know. We'll see. I mean, we're still about, because I think we have the 84th pick, so we're still about 15 picks away from our next pick. It's the 3rd round. You could still get an offensive lineman in the 3rd round, and he could still end up being a pretty good player. But without a 1st round pick and only 1 pick in the 2nd round, that to me is where you should have taken the offensive lineman. It's hands down. You should have taken the offensive lineman there. But if not that, at least go like running back or tight end. Darnell Washington was still available. Even linebacker would have been a better option to me. But anyway, it is what it is. Like I said, overall, I definitely am very optimistic for this upcoming season and for this team and for the future. So we'll see how it plays out. Look, and again, just real quick, it's no offense to Cam Smith, I think his name, Cam Smith. No offense to the kid. Even if he becomes a great player for us down the line, I just don't think they should have made that pick. But it is what it is, so we'll see how it goes. And again, overall, I am quite optimistic for how this next season will play out. And so I'm ready. I'm ready to go for it. But anyway, with that, I am going to go ahead and wrap this up. I am planning to, I'm not going to be like making a lot of videos. I may, stream some games this season, do some live streams for games this season. That actually is kind of in my plan. We'll see how that plays out. But I would like to do that. And then, just make videos from time to time, just kind of giving you guys my thoughts, especially on, the big news of the day and stuff like that. So, I am glad to be back. And I almost said glad to be black. A little bit of Freudian slip there almost, but I caught myself. I'm glad to be back. And, again, pumped for this upcoming season. So we'll see how it plays out. With that, I am going to get up out of here. I hope you guys appreciate my perspective. I hope you like my opinions and what I have to say. I know it's been a minute. Obviously, it's been, about 2 years or so since the last time I made a video. But I am going to be getting back into this game. So let's roll, fins up, and let's have a good season.
Miami wins it.